Okay, Hajiya, you're welcome to the studio.
Call me Najatu, please.
Najatu?
Najatu is my name.
Najatu, all right. You're welcome to the studio. Okay, so let's hear from you. You listen the beats to what our paper reviewers talked about you, about being consistent, and I want to say congratulations, Nigerians who don't even know you are speaking up for you. But first, let's hear from you. Why did you resign from the APC?
I want to take you first to how I even went into the campaign team.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I was on board a flight, and there was a delay. I opened my phone, and there came a call. Somebody that I never knew. He said his name is Falake, and that he's working for Tinubu. That he wants me to be a director in the civil society organization. And I told him point blank that I don't want to be part of it. Then he started to plead with me to please accept it. I said, no, I don't want to accept it because I've never sat with Tinubu to tell me what he has for us in the country general, and particularly the North. He said, please, madam. He started to beg me. I said, don't embarrass me because I don't want to be arrogant. When people start to say, in the name of God, do this, then you feel bad to say no. So I gave him a condition. He said the names will be out the next day, and he wants my name to be out as the director. I said, no, I can't accept that. Then after all the plea, I said, okay, let me meet you halfway. If I sit with Asuwaju and I'm not comfortable with what he says he has for the North, then I have a right to opt out. And Falake said, yes, it's okay. So if you notice, when the names came out, it's the only directorate, which there were two directors, was the directorate they put me, the civil service, the civil the civil society organizations. There were two. I was made a co-director. That night, I got around 11 p.m., I started to get phone calls. Normally, I don't pick my calls at night. But then I saw a message saying that Asiwaju wants to talk to you around 11 p.m. So I gave them a reply. I'm waiting. Immediately they saw my text, they called me back. And Aswaju called me. He says, Hajiya, I said, sir. He said, I respect your stance on not accepting the appointment. I said, yes, sir. Because I can't be a zombie. I just can't follow you because you said I should follow you. Let me know what you have for us up north. Because if I made a mistake on Buhari, with you, the truth is written on the horizon. So I have to know what you have for us. He said he's in London, that if I can, I should go over. He offered to buy me a ticket. I said, no, sir, I can afford a ticket. And then he said, can I get a hotel for you? I said, yes, that I will appreciate. I took the next Lufthansa to London. I saw him that same night, and we sat. And I said, sir, the reason why I'm not accepting your appointment is because I don't know what you have for us up north. Because in the north, every single person is either waiting to be killed or kidnapped. We can't go on like this. What is your blueprint for us? He told me that he doesn't have anything for us. I said, you mean, sir, you don't have a blueprint? He said, I can't have a blueprint because if I have a blueprint, I'll be stepping on too many toes and they might even kill me. This was what he said. I said, but sir, how can you rule without a blueprint? He said, I will only make a blueprint after winning the elections. I said, there will be a lot of distractions after winning the elections. You have to keep your eyes on the ball. He said, well, you know what? If you have anything you want me to put in my manifesto, then please bring it. I told him that I have an elders. We have a network for national salvation. I have our elder. I'll go meet him in Paris the next day. The next day, I left for Paris. I didn't get to see him, but we came back to London. We sat, and we already had a template. So He gave me something, we took something about the Almajiri, because the Almajiri is really a menace to us up north. They have been used as cannon fodder. And when you have able-bodied men that are doing nothing, in their millions, you will always get a problem. I told him about that. I wrote about that. I wrote about agriculture. I wrote about security and so many other things. Till date, I have not been allowed to see Asuwaju, to even give it to him. Then I called one of his hangers-on, Ibrahim Masari. Ibrahim Masari, I called him. I said, look, I have this template. What happens? I need to see Asuwaju to give this to him. He said, well, sorry, I'm sorry, Hajiya, you are late because the manifesto has already been completed. Nasir El-Rufai has given us what the North needs, and according to him, all the North needs is state police. I know Nasir is a very brilliant and patriotic person. There is no way that anyone can tell me that Nasir will do such a thing, Nasir El-Rufai. But in any case, I just said, I was still being patient. Then we started at the campaign council. We've never been invited for any meeting. We've never been invited for any rally. And I have transcended, going to show my face. I can't. We have an appointment with destiny. We have an appointment with posterity. I can't be condescending. I tried to be patient. In fact, I wrote my letter of resignation over a month ago. But for somebody that I had I still have so much respect for, that I went to tell him that, look, I'm resigning from the APC. He said, why? Because I said, one, after having sat with Asuwaju told me that he doesn't have an agenda or a blueprint for any of our problems. He told me this. And then secondly, I have also tried for 3 months to get our northern elders, opinion molders that are in the APC to come together and go en bloc to Asuwaju to put our requests. I saw the Lagos Chamber of Commerce giving him their requests. But these our northern elders in the APC, for 3 months I was shuttling from one person to the other for us to even sit and come up with an agenda for the North. They refused to sit. So it's like in the APC, it's each to himself. It's each, what do I get? I have never in my life done anything for money. I'm a businesswoman. I don't do politics for the sake of politics or to get anything. I was born into a political family. My father was Nepu. My husband was killed, assassinated. I have seen so much because of his views. I have been poisoned. I was 7 months in Germany. I had to have a reconstruction of my colon. I went to prison twice because of what I believe. I can't waste my time here. And I then tried to sit with other presidential candidates. Mm. There are 4 main presidential candidates. With Mr. Obi, we kept missing each other. I had spoken to him through my mentor, in Lagos. She might not want me to mention her name, but we kept missing each other for one reason or the other. So I never got to sit with him. And time was in the essence. As for Kwankwaso is not only my neighbor, he's not only my brother. I don't do that for that, no. But he did a tremendous job for us in Kano, especially in terms of human development. Because you need to bring this sea of youth, this energy, out of the streets if you want to survive. But we don't have the luxury of time. He has a new party, and he cannot really go beyond a few states. He can't, because of the time and because of the structural, for some structural reasons, I know. So I said to myself, if I have to choose between Tinubu and Atiku, and mark you, I have always fought people over Obi for one reason. You should not crucify a person because of his tribe. You don't choose your tribe. You don't even choose your parents. So don't crucify him because of his tribe. He is only what God has given him, just like I'm only what God has given me. However, I looked at the options in the APC. They go to rallies, and Asiwaju cannot even decipher. He cannot. When I was speaking, I sat with him for 2 hours. Most of the time he was sleeping. You ask him questions on this, and he's talking completely different from the topic that you are discussing. So how on earth, what is wrong with Nigerians? What is it that you'll benefit personally for you to sacrifice over 200 million people? And so I decided that, okay, the choice now for me is between Asiwaju and Atiku. Because both of them have the structures in their parties. And then I looked and I looked and I looked. I looked for Atiku. I said, look, what is your blueprint? I did that. I didn't just do it off head. I sat down with him. What is your blueprint on security? They gave me a whole booklet. What is your blueprint on agriculture? They gave me everything. It took me days to go through it. So I said to myself, somebody that I sat with and discussed this with, he says, look, Najatu, you are trying to choose between the devil and the dipsy.
You chose
I said, yes,
dipsy.
absolutely. But I'd rather go with the dipsy. If Allah helps me, I'll be like Jonah. As Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish, God Almighty delivered him, he will deliver me. But there is no winning with the devil. In this case, Asiwaju is the devil. There is no winning. Because you cannot relate to a person that has lost it upstairs. If he is physically unfit and he is mentally okay, we can manage. At least you know you can hold him accountable. But in this case, you know that those hangers on are only pushing him, knowing that he cannot do it, and they will be the beneficiaries. They will be, you know, he's just there like an idol. And you just, they will be, his wife will be doing the ruling. She will rule over the country. And the other hangers on, they even hate Asiwaju as far as I'm concerned. Because you cannot push somebody that is ill mentally into a position of leadership. What sort of people are we? This thing will come back and consume every single one of us.
But you also mentioned that party platforms have no ideological differences and are robes that, you know, politicians wear to serve their personal needs and interests.
Yes, ma'am.
And you would rather, you know, support an individual. But an individual is not far from being under his party, and that structure governs it.
The individual needs a party to contest the election. But I should not be tied down to the rope. I said it. Asiwaju was first AD, then he was AC, then he was ACN, now he's APC. Same with Kwankwaso. He was PDP, he came into APC, and then went back to the PDP, and then to NNPP now. The same is true with Peter Obi. The same is true with Atiku. So why should Nigerians be tied down to an illusion? Illusion is the party. It doesn't make sense. It's just a bloody logo. It's just I can decide to change my dress. That doesn't make me different. That doesn't make me a different person. So what I'm saying is this: Nigerians should stop tying themselves to parties. These politicians must be taught a lesson that if you want us to vote for you, bring a good candidate. I think Nigerians must begin to change their way of thinking. And the reason why, in fact, even I had to liberate myself. I had to liberate myself from the shackles of the rope. I had to liberate myself. That was why I took the position that I took. And then when they're saying that it's so cheap and silly, talking about, oh, I was kicked out for incompetence. At what point? And the party does not belong to Aswaji. The party is headed by Abdullahi Adamu. He is the one to expel me out of the party for anti-party. That is why I left, because I gave them the constitutional requirement of the APC. I cannot remain in the APC at this point in time and attack any of our candidates. But I said that I will support Binani, the only woman standing in APC, in fact in the whole country, as governorship candidate in Adamawa. I was with her a few weeks ago. I'll continue to go to Adamawa to support her. I have a governorship candidate in NNPP in Kanu, Abba Yusuf. I'll support him. We have different, we have three senators contested. I'm supporting 2 from the NNPP and 1 from the PDP.
So it's not about political parties
so
now.
About,
you're supporting.
I have to free myself.
Okay, so before you were taken into or chosen as one of the campaign council members of the APC, were you a card-carrying member of the APC?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, that means that throughout the Buhari administration,
yes,
you have always been an APC member. Okay, so is it just the problem of Tinubu now, or is it the problem of the party, about what Nigeria is going on? Because you talked about why you are leaving, because from developments you have seen around, Nigerians are suffering.
Yeah, it's not just about Tinubu, but it's also about the party. Quite honestly, I have to be very honest with you. Abdullahi Adamu did a great job. You know why he did a great job? Because considering the positions he held, he was a governor, he was a minister, so the governors could not push him around. I can give you the case of Kanu, for instance, in which our state governor was insisting that he controlled all the delegates, all the candidates, that all the candidates must come from his pocket. But Abdullah Adamu stood his ground. No, this so and so is, you either contest this and so contest this, or you lose it. That is a good leader. I have no problem with that. But apart from that, I had the last speakers talking about local government chairmen and their autonomy and the state assemblies. The state assemblies are just house boys. The governors determine who gets what, who is in what position. So that is why Nigerians must begin to teach those governors a lesson. That if you know he's a bad governor, stand your ground, move him out, at least teach him a lesson. Don't give him a second term. If they do that, can you imagine a whole country? And that also has to do with a very, very extremely weak president. Buhari cannot swat a fly. He cannot swat a fly. It's not as he pretends he doesn't know. He knows. When do you go pleading with governors? Obasanjo removed them. State assemblies impeached them. But you see, Buhari is such a weakling, or rather he pretends to be a weakling. Because when it serves his personal purpose, then you see him taking a position. But quite honestly, he has woefully failed this country. He has woefully failed us up north. So when Tinubu begins to say that he will continue where Buhari stops, it's crazy for anyone to even think of voting anyone at the AP, or voting the APC. Why should we?
But the thinking, you know, in some quarters is that you were one of the strong pillars that brought even the Buhari you're criticizing now to power. So at what point did you notice that he has deviated from the plan? And what effort did you make within the party to ensure that, you know, he doesn't go against the positions? And by the way, the president is even saying that he has not disappointed anybody.
He has done marvelously well.
Well, if he hasn't disappointed anyone, then I think he's living in denial. He's living in denial because even his state now is ungovernable. Because there are local governments that are completely under the bandits in his own state of Katsina. As we are talking today, as we are talking now, I can bet you my life that people are being killed. Villages have been wiped out. In the whole of the northwest, except for Kano and maybe parts of Jigawa, it's overrun by bandits. So how can he even talk of that? Look at the southeast. Look at the carnage in the southeast. Hasn't he failed them? Is it not his responsibility to give them that security? He has failed. Look at the economy. Look at this thing about the Naira. Over 200 million people will go out of food in the next few days. I can bet you that. Because the new note is not available. So he has taken off hundreds of years back because you have to start trading by barter. That is the only way you can survive. So he has failed. He has not failed himself because all the people around him have enriched themselves. Stupendous amount of money. People selling recharge cards are now swimming in billions. It's crazy. And he says he hasn't failed. Has he succeeded in tackling corruption? One of the reasons why we stood for Buhari, I put my life on the line for Buhari. I have 7 surgeries here. 7 surgeries because I was poisoned. I spent 7 months in Germany to have a reconstruction of my colon because of this Buhari.
So was it because you were poisoned?
Yes.
How did it happen?
Well, it happened because, to be very honest, I wouldn't want to mention names, but I was invited to the office of the DSS then, and that was where I was poisoned.
Interesting.
Yes, that was what happened. They put me, look, and let me tell you, when they say I do things, when I was one of the co-conveners of Save Nigeria, along with Pastor Tunde Bakare. I am a co-convener of Save Nigeria. Adua is my brethren, a Fulani, House of Fulani, and a Muslim. But we don't look, I had transcended that. We fought until the doctrine of necessity was put. And Jonathan tried to reward me with a ministerial appointment. I said no. I refused to accept. I said, sir, I did not do Save Nigeria to be a minister. Obasanjo made me minister twice. The first time I went, I got a standing ovation in the Senate. But then my own senators from the ANPP now said, I'm from Saraki group, so they don't, because Saraki, of course, and we had a conflict within the party. So most of the senators were with the chairman then, so they rejected my name. Obasanjo called me to say, let me come into PDP so that he will make me minister as a PDP member. I said no. I don't want to leave my party. So it's so silly talking about me as it concerns money. So what I'm trying to tell you, in essence, is that I'm 66. I have grown in a family that has seen so much. I grew up seeing my father going to prison because he was NEPO. They were anti-establishment then. My husband, late Bala Muhammad, was chopped into pieces and burnt alive.
Why?
For his opposition, for what he was saying. The day I identified that body, that was my springboard. I decided I will continue where he stopped.
All right, just
So what I'm trying to say is this. I always follow my conscience. I will always do things for God and for my country, not for self. Those who think that they can lie for peanut, they should wait for their end. Because all the problems we are having today in Nigeria is as a result of this bootlicking. This hoping against hope that I'll get something. Okay, go and be governor, go and be minister, steal all the money you can steal, and you will be killed by a mosquito or a virus. You become, I have seen so many of them. So it doesn't shock me.